All right, we're looking at the state championships here out in Victorville, California. A road race put on by Majestic. And I believe this is the Southern California state championships because I think Northern California has their own. And yes, it would be awesome to put together a full California event, meeting Central California somewhere, Santa Barbara or something. It'd probably be a pretty good turnout. Want to give a shout out right there to 508 Connor getting on the podium. This is his first road race. We had a good talk before the race, and he came inside, and I let him, take position on me at the last Majestic race. So, I'm proud of what he did. He came out, gave a solid effort, scouted the course well, and just put in a good effort, stuck with the group, and got on the box. Also, another shout out to Tony Dominguez, representing the 50 Plus Club. He got a top 10, and that's an awesome job. He hung in there really well, played it smart, and was patient. He lost touch at one point, but he still kept a hot pace and was able to bring home a top 10. So let's get into the race here. For me, I was having trouble right off the bat. None of my stats would register, so if you see that power and my cadence and all that stuff is wrong. The only thing I think is probably accurate is my miles per hour and my heart rate, and I'm not even 100% sure about that. And the reason why I say I'm not sure about that either, it has my fastest lap at like 19 minutes, and my fastest lap was way faster than that. Even this opening lap on this video was 17 minutes for me, and everyone else was doing 16, 17-minute laps, and my fastest lap says it's 19, but my stats were just off. So the power is not accurate, the cadence is not accurate, my heart rate I think is accurate, the grade I think is accurate, and possibly the speed. But anyway, this is that infield section that we just went through was beat up from the feet up. It was just tore up, real sketch, kind of gravel, sand, stuff like that. If it was smooth, it would just be an awesome layout. Nice bunny hop right there by D. That was a big plate across the road. As you can see, we had the option, because there's a center line rule here, so we do have to stay on the right side of the double yellow. But when there's a hazard, we're allowed to go across for that split second, as long as we don't make up positions and then come back over. Here, if you see, we're up to 30-something miles per hour. It's brutal headwinds. We couldn't take this turn like we wanted to because there's a bunch of sand right there in the corner. Makes everyone go wide, or you have to slow down. And because of traffic on the other side of the street, we did have to slow down later and take that turn a little slower. There's a little rise right here, and then it goes into a downhill. But there is a brutal crosswind coming off the right. Head crosswind is coming off the right. And normally on this little 1% section, we'd be probably closer to 30 miles per hour without that headwind. And we'd be well into the 40 miles per hour going downhill. But this headwind really killed our momentum. And I think my highest speed coming downhill was 35 right here with the group. But later during the race, it was hard for me to hit 30 miles per hour, riding solo, coming downhill here. If you look at everyone's numbers flapping around, that gives you a little indication of how strong the wind is. We don't have any big trees or flags so you can see it, but yeah. So anyway, right off the bat, I was having trouble, and I couldn't tell if I was having a health issue or if I just wasn't feeling good or what it was. But I think Montgomery Goodermont, I think he put it the best. It's like basically we're breathing. It felt like we were breathing through a straw, and I didn't even pay attention to the altitude. It's almost 3,000 feet, and I found out when I was on football scholarship at University of New Mexico that I have an anemia problem. I have a problem with not only my iron, I have a sickle cell issue, and I don't carry oxygen that well. So I don't know if that was it or if I'm just, got busted early. I'm not sure what it was, but I definitely couldn't breathe and had no power. This was kind of fun though at the beginning. Just it looked like it was going to be a really fun race, and I'm pretty sure it was. It was difficult, but it's fun doing these road courses. We don't get a chance to do too many road races, and this was pretty fun. So yeah, here is like pretty much the fastest point, and I'm only going this fast because the wind's coming off the right, and I had a little slingshot with the little echelon draft there. So being directly behind someone, basically there is no draft. you have to be over to the left side with the wind coming off the right. This is Josh in front of me here, and you can see how he's tucked. And as I'm behind him, I'm not getting much break, but as I move to the left, I'll end up going by him because now I'm being sheltered by the wind. Josh and I spent a lot of time together on this race. So basically, if you can see the map up in the top right, it's a kind of like a little funky layout here because we do have a U-turn, but that's just probably the roads that they can secure. And it actually is a decent layout. I mean, without the wind, it makes it kind of fun. And if the road surface in the infield was paved a little better, it would really be an awesome circuit. So right here, I'm probably doing a little too much. I mean, the watts are low. We're not going hard right here. We're not going fast. It says it's flat, but don't pay attention to that 0% because we are in a serious headwind here. That's why the speed is so low. It feels like we're probably climbing at about 8% here. I do a little acceleration just to get in front of the go fast wall because I saw that they had lined up 3 across, and I'm pretty sure at the U-turns they're gonna do a little block move and let one of the riders break away. And when there's a crosswind like this, there's 2 factors. Like, one, it's hard for a solo rider to stay away, so we don't have to worry about a solo rider depending on how strong they are. But at the same time, it's hard to catch people when there's a crosswind. 1 rider, 2 rider, 3 rider, doesn't kind of matter. It's really hard to catch. And as you can see, they come back through here because they do want to hit that U-turn first. And so I take advantage. I sit off to the left here a little bit so I can get a little draft, and then I'm going to move up just so I can try to slow it down again for the U-turn. And my reason for slowing it down is not for me. It's for the group to bunch up again. So when the attack comes, that people can jump on, and I'm hoping I can, get a little break and get up this hill. Didn't quite work out for me the way I wanted to, but so here I'm not planning on going up the hill first or anything like that, or staying in front of the group. I basically just wanted the group to bunch up so it doesn't break up so early, because I know for me this is not a course that suits me, and I'm going to definitely need help making it around this course, with everyone else. So I try to sit on Tony's wheel here. It's pretty good. I think Brian makes a move right here, tries to attack, and honestly, it's kind of like a false move. I don't think Brian's really trying to go off the front. I don't think I'm not sure he's the breakaway type that's going to carry it all the way, but I think it was a bait move, just to get us to chase him a little bit and pop some people, which, some people chased, but the guys that chased were very strong, and, they were able to stay with the front group to the end. Unfortunately, Brian ended up flatting a couple laps later and ended up having to pull out of the race. There's D in front of me right there. I was trying to hold his wheel here, but like I said, I just cannot breathe whatsoever. We're hitting this hill pretty fast. If you can see, 31 miles per hour at the start of the hill. It says it's 1%. It's probably 1, 2 here, and then at the top it gets maybe 6%. It might touch 5-6%. It's almost like a false flat. Like, you can really carry some speed up it. We are with a tailwind now, though. So for us, this is a blessing here. It's a tailwind, but at the same time, it's a curse, because once we get done with the climb, I say the crime because, we get murdered after we get done with the climb. It is like brutal. And I mean, literally 25, 30 mile per hour headwind on a flat, and we couldn't manage to hit over 18 miles per hour for the most part. I'm not sure what the entire group did, but if you're solo or 2 or 3 riders, I've seen speeds as low as 12 miles per hour on the flat up there, and that wind was just brutal. So I know some of the juniors were saying they had a hard time making it over 10 miles per hour, but the entire day, it was really hard to get over 20. I think the fastest I went on that stretch is 18, and you might see some of it in a second. So, but I'm pretty gassed right here. I'm just sucking wind. My heart rate's at 187, which is not quite my max. But like I said, I didn't have it today to begin with. I'm definitely more fit to get popped than in the first quarter of a lap, but it happened, and that's what it is. If it was a health issue or not, or if it's a pace or fitness issue or an altitude issue, it is what it is. That's what I'm working with. So had to kind of adjust and change up the game plan. And for the most part, for me, obviously I need to recover, get my heart rate down right here, and then I have to find some type of pace that I can manage some oxygen in. There's Francisco in front of me here. He doesn't have a PAA kit. He had crashed in CBR, so this is his first race back. This race he would love. It fits his like power profile and all that, but he just does not have the fitness because he hasn't ridden much or raced in the last 2 months, basically. He didn't crash at the last CBR. I think he crashed at the one before that on the short course. So, yeah, so he's healed up, and that's a blessing. See him back out here. He's doing pretty good right now, but he is a climber, and he was behind me, so he's struggling. His fitness is just not back yet, and he just wanted to race it because wanted to road race, and for the most part, it's probably going to be his last race of this year, and then we'll start some off-season training and stuff. So Francisco's also one of the guys that I coach, and yeah, he's made tremendous progress. I believe he went from like a 250 FTP to 305 or 315. I can't remember which. And that was before he got injured. Now he's probably back down to 250 after taking 2 months off the bike. So, but yeah, he's doing a great job, and unfortunately, he's gonna flat as well. And I believe that's Hansel right there from Pat 605. The three of us try to work together for a second, but honestly, they're stronger than I am right here. I could not recover. I could not get any air in my lungs. I suggest that we take some 30-second pulls, and they were with it. We were all okay doing that, but my 30 seconds was at a way slower pace than their 30 seconds. So, Ansel was like, okay, the group's getting away. Well, honestly, they're gone already. They're probably 100 yards in front of us easily. And yeah, there's no way we're going to catch them immediately. We'd have to take a few laps to catch some stragglers and try to form a bigger group if we're going to even have a chance to catch the front of the peloton. But for us, we only have 4 laps, which is 26 miles total. We're doing 6-mile laps, 6 point something, I can't remember, 6.2, 6.3, something like that. But so for us, it's kind of like a sprint. It's kind of a sprint race. So you get a gap here, and yeah, it's going to be hard to really back in, especially with this crosswind. You're not going to make up much time. You see we're doing 23 here, which seems like, okay, that's not too fast. You're on a flat road, it's 0%, and it seems like it's not too bad. But as we start to turn left up here, it gets brutal. I mean, it's probably one of the hardest headwinds I've ridden in, and I live in Fontana, so you know how the wind blows there. And yeah, it's brutal. As you see now, the speed is dropping dramatically now. And this is a flat road basically, or 1%, and it felt probably like it was closer to 10%, 12% incline. That's what it felt like on the day with this wind being so heavy. And because there's a centerline rule, we can't move to the left corner or the left sidewalk over there to shelter with the buildings. So we had to stay right of the double yellow, and we were just catching all the wind. I think this right here, 18, is probably the fastest I've been on this section. And we're not even in the full headwind yet. You'll see as it turns left a little bit, we end up going down to, I think at my slowest, I was doing 13 miles per hour on this street. And at my fastest, when I was solo, I was going about 18 miles per hour. So it was definitely brutal. You tuck as much as you can, but it was just so fatiguing to try to fight this wind by yourself. And it was a tough day. So it's kind of hot also, but the breeze kept it cool. I shouldn't say breeze, the tornado kept it cool. But other than that, it was just incredibly taxing. So it's a great job for everyone that competed and stuck it out. I know some guys quit early and a couple people flatted. A flat you can't do anything about, but for me it was just like, hey, let's just get a pace, ride tempo, threshold, whatever I can ride to end up just making it through the 4 laps. So yeah, as you can see, I'm down to 14 miles per hour with a heart rate of 172, which is just about my threshold heart rate. So I'm probably doing about 250 watts there. So here I come around after the start finish line, and I find Francisco here on the side of the road with a flat tire. That beat up section of the course busted a lot of tires, just pinch flats and stuff like that. So I think he had a glass issue, but yeah, either way, a flat's a flat. So right here, I saw someone in my view, and I thought I'd run him down, and it turns out it's a junior. We had multiple races out on the course at the same time just because the course is so big. We had a couple minutes gaps in between each start. So ends up being a junior, so I just move on by. And I believe this is about where Josh from Go Fast ends up catching back up to me, and we try to work together for a little while. But if you look at the difference now, we were doing 35 when I came down this downhill on lap number 1. And now I'm solo in the wind, and I'm doing 25. And that should tell you like how strong this headwind is, and we're downhill. There's a group in front of me over there to the left, and they probably have just about a half mile gap on me now. Something like, 4 or 5 tenths of a mile gap on me. And obviously it's just going to get bigger. There's no way I can catch him. So Josh catches me here, and Josh is a bigger guy, also has a lot of power. Obviously he's going to struggle a little bit climbing sometimes, but I think Josh and I would have had a pretty good time if we would have worked together. And we did work together here and there, just kind of conversated a little bit also. But I think, in the competitive spirit, Josh was more aimed at dropping me instead of working with me. But that's natural. That's what we're out here for, to compete. But I think in these conditions, 2 people are always going to be faster than 1. And we could scoop up a couple more people during the next lap or so. We could have formed a nice little 3-4 man group and possibly even caught a couple more people. So yeah, Josh puts in a little effort here going into the U-turn, and he's like, "Hey, see ya. I'm just gonna ride you off my wheel, and if you can't hang, that's on you." But for me, I was already in, hey, we got 18 more miles to go. So in these conditions, which I know I keep saying these conditions, but if you got to be out there to kind of know how brutal it was. But with the wind being as strong as it is, yeah, there's no way I was gonna be able to hold like over my threshold or something for those next 18 miles. So I kind of backed it down to tempo and sweet spot. I tried to. I have no metrics, so I was just going off of feel and heart rate, and just went from there. So anyway, this is another little breather here. We're going just downhill for a second. Well, at least it feels downhill, but we have a tailwind, so that's probably what made it feel downhill. And when you're getting pushed in the back by 20-30 mile per hour wind, it's pretty good. And if you notice one thing, it's quiet here on this section of the course, and that's one way that you can notice that you have a tailwind opposed to a headwind or a crosswind, because the noise is quiet, your wheels are quiet. And when you're going the opposite direction, you're going to be making a lot of noise, and that just means you're in a headwind or a crosswind. So that's one thing. If you follow cinch cycling, they give a lot of tips like that, and that was one of the things they gave just a week or 2 ago. I was already familiar with it, but it's always good to just see their riding tips and trainings that they do, or not training, but kind of riding advice or whatever. So Josh puts in an effort and drops me here. I run him back down on the start finish line, and then we work together for a little bit here. And then once again, you can see Josh and I were the ones tucked on the first lap, and we were doing 35, 36 miles per hour. And 2 people, 2 laps later, same 2 guys, and we can't manage to hit 30. We might touch it, but we're definitely not going well over 30. And this was a Saturday race. I'm recording it right now on Sunday, and my wife on her race hit 36 or 37 on this. And I know one of the other guys that's in Cat 3 without even trying, just tucking. He was at 42 miles per hour. I think that was Zach from SDVC. He was at 42 miles per hour. So their wind was different on our day. It was kind of, it was almost reversed. It wasn't exactly reversed, but it was kind of crosswind, but from a different direction. So they had a tailwind on the downhill, and they had a headwind on the uphill, which seemed brutal, but that long stretch, the false flat up there, they didn't have a strong wind up there at all. The wind was like, it was night and day, but it was a lot hotter on Sunday, and because without the wind being as strong, the pace was a lot hotter. So, either way, it was a lot of suffering, 2 days of suffering, basically. So Josh is kind of fading a little bit here. I was willing to work with him, even though I think he was intent on dropping me, but I was willing to work with him, and I think just the lap before he put in a little too much effort and he wasn't able to actually work with me. So once I come by him here on the U-turn, I'm pretty much gonna kind of ride away from him, but it wasn't intentional. I was honestly keeping the same pace because we had another whole lap to go, and obviously we could have battled it out on the last lap, but I think once we turn around and go up the hill, Josh puts in another effort right here, but once we turn around and go up the hill, I kind of just ride away from him, and that's how we finish. So I end up hanging in there and struggling to a 18th place finish. I can't speak for some reason, but I was 18th out of 28, and we probably had about a good 5 or 6 people that ended up not finishing. If you look at the results, it says Willie Brown didn't finish, but he did. I believe he was 11th place. There's 2 people that they missed, 2 numbers that they missed, but as far as my position, it didn't change. I was 18th place. So anyway, it was fun. Thank you to Majestic for hosting the event, and I hope they actually do this event next year during the regular season, because I like to get my fitness up, do a little altitude training, and see if I can come out and do a road race, have a good finish in a road race. I've done 3 road/circuit races so far in my young career, and I haven't fared too well on any of them, So, but the only good thing is I have finished every race I've been in. So this is pretty much a cap for my 2021 season, and I'll just be doing some training now and maybe race whenever I feel like it. So thanks for watching, and thanks for the support throughout the year.